Hi everyone, my name is Robert, and in today's video I wanted to talk to you about creativity, and more specifically how to unlock the creative power of your brain. Because there's a very simple method to do it, and it works in many different situations, like whether you're trying to come up with a great gift idea for a loved one, or if you have an important decision to make in your business and you don't know what to do, or even if you want to figure out what to do with your life. Okay, it works in all of those instances, and here's how it goes. The most creative you're ever going to be is when you go for a walk. Okay, that's it. 99% of the situations, when you go for a walk, you're going to be more creative than when you're just sitting at your desk. In fact, and I'm not even kidding, before recording this video, I was sitting at my desk for like 3 minutes and trying to come up with some ideas, the main ideas I wanted to talk about, and also a structure for this video, and nothing came up. Like, I was just looking at my screen and not writing anything. But as soon as I stood up and started to walk around the house, walk around this room, everything just flowed smoothly. You know, it was like the video wrote itself, essentially. The bullet points were writing themselves. And now, as weird as it sounds, there is a smart way to go for a walk and unlock this creative power of your brain. But before we go into that, before going into the 3 things that I'm personally doing to make my walks more effective, to maximize the creative output of my walks, before going there, I want to go into the reason why walking is so powerful. Because it seems weird, such a small change, going for a walk instead of sitting at your desk, how this can help you get into the flow state and unlock more creativity. And the reason is pretty simple, actually. When you go for a walk, what happens is your conscious mind is freed up, and because of that, your subconscious mind can surface, can wake up and do the creative work for you. And if you're wondering what this subconscious mind is, it's basically the sum or the collection of everything you've ever learned in your life, of every experience you've ever had, and everything you've learned along the way. Everything is stored up in your subconscious mind. Okay, so somewhere in your brain, in your body, in your nervous system, even in the neurons in your gut, that's where the instinct comes from, when you have an instinct for something. But essentially, everything you've ever experienced in life is stored in your body. Your body knows it, but your mind isn't conscious of it all. It cannot be conscious of everything that's ever happened in your life. Okay? And so, the key here is to just free up your conscious mind and let the subconscious take over, because it knows much more than your conscious brain does, and so it can produce much better quality work and much more creative output. And let me give you an example. Back, I think it's more than a year ago, probably close to 2 years ago, I started learning about copywriting and marketing. I just wanted to get better at these skills, and I remember having a period where I was practicing every day. I was writing stuff. I was trying to write in a persuasive manner, and I tried writing in different intervals of the day. In the morning, right after I woke up. I was trying in the evening, where even though I felt a little bit tired, my mind felt out of the box. You know, I was feeling creative. I also tried at lunch and at many different times. But you know, when was the most effective interval, or when I was producing the best output, essentially? It was when I was walking back from the gym. You know, I was going to the gym in the morning, and on my way back, it was a 20-minute walk or something like that. I was just walking with my phone in my hand and constantly typing. I wasn't even pausing, you know. Maybe when I was just looking up to see if any car would run over me or things like that, but I was constantly writing. I was in such a flow state, a creative flow state, that in those 20 minutes alone, on my way back home from the gym, I was able to produce more work and better work than I would have done at home in 2 hours sitting at my desk. It's actually insane how effective that thing was. Now, I'm not the only one who's experiencing this, who's much more creative when walking. There are other people famous people who have acknowledged the power of walking, and I have them here on my laptop. The first one was Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is famous for having these walking meetings with his employees. And he also said that the best quality of ideas that were produced there at Apple were during walking. Okay, so if Steve Jobs was doing it, it's probably worth considering, right? Now, there's another person, Friedrich Nietzsche, who has this famous quote, apparently I just researched it before this video, who says, "All truly great thoughts are conceived while walking." Okay, so, and there's many more famous and successful figures in the history who have recognized the inspiration that walking is giving you and the creative output that it's able to convey. But the point is, all you have to do is just free up your conscious mind. So while walking, your conscious mind might be focused on the actual walking, on noticing the surroundings, looking at the trees, maybe feeling the breeze, listening to the birds, whatever, and the subconscious mind can wake up and do the actual work. And if you're wondering if walking is the only activity that has these benefits, it's not. You can also go driving. Driving works for some people. It's the same principle. Right? And even taking a shower. Like, how many times have you gone to take a shower and you've had some brilliant ideas come out of nowhere? It's the same principle. Your conscious mind is just focused on the actual showering, and the subconscious can take over and come up with this creative stuff in the meantime. But, driving and taking a shower make it more difficult to write down the ideas. That's why I personally prefer walking. You can just write them down so you don't forget them. Right? And yeah, the point is to stop using your conscious mind so much, to stop being so busy trying to think the ideas and just let the subconscious come up with the ideas from within. That's the main idea. And I promised in the beginning that I would tell you 3 things that I'm personally doing to make this more effective, to maximize the output of my walks, if I can say it like that. And the first one would be to find your creative window during the day. Because everyone has an interval during the day when they're most productive, when they're most creative. For me, it's in the morning. Okay? In the morning, I'm able to produce the best quality work and I have the best idea. So if I go for a walk, in order to come up with some ideas or make an important decision or things like that, it's going to be in the morning. It's going to maximize the output. The second thing that's really important at the same time is to be well rested. Because if you go for a walk in the morning, let's say that's your creative window, but you're really tired, you had a horrible night's sleep and you're physically tired and you have this mental brain fog, of course the output is not going to be there. You can walk across the entire city. You're not going to come up with amazing ideas if you're really tired. So I know there's all these hustle gurus out there who are telling you to sacrifice sleep so you can sneak in a couple more hours of work. But when it comes to creativity, quality comes from being well rested. Not from working more, not from doing more reps. Okay? And the third thing I'm doing, and I was ignoring this for a long time actually. And I don't understand why. I was buying into this hustle culture thing and I thought that relaxing and having fun was bad. It was unproductive, that I was just lazy if I wanted to have fun. But when it comes to creativity, again, it's so important to just have some fun throughout your life, but throughout your day as well. Because if all you do is work and you starve yourself of dopamine, if you make yourself just this work machine who doesn't know how to unwind and how to relax, when you wake up the next morning, first of all, you won't feel like working because you haven't been able to wind up. But also your body is gonna constantly look into the fastest way to gain some dopamine because you're depleted. You don't have any in your system. And if you keep doing this over time, it's gonna be so much harder to resist your temptation. So whether it's scrolling or eating junk food, whatever it happens to be, it's gonna be so much harder to resist and your willpower only takes you so far. At some point it's gonna break. And this perfect routine of working all day without any breaks, without any fun, is going to break and you're going to feel really bad about yourself. So having some fun throughout the day, for me it's unwinding at the end of the day, is really important. Also finding your creative window and making sure you rest properly and have a good night's sleep. These are all truly important when it comes to having great ideas in whatever context you want. So That's what I wanted to talk to you about today. Hopefully this is going to help you, but we're gonna see each other in the next video. Bye.